A very good evening to all of you and welcome to the news tonight. 30 minutes of the day's top stories from India and across the world. We've got developing news from our neighbouring countries. We'll get you all that. I'm Trisi Shilshi and here are the headlines first. India and Sri Lanka signed 4 agreements on day 1 of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to the island nation. Both sides agreed to take up the fishermen issue in detail. India lodges strong protests at an Islamabad court's order to release 2611 planner Zakir Rahman Lakhvi, says Pakistan government must ensure Lakhvi stays behind bars. More trouble for the Aam Aadmi Party as yet another sting surfaces. This one accuses Arvind Kejriwal of communal politics. Free for all in the Kerala Assembly, mass presentation of the budget as MLAs turn violent, accusing the Finance Minister of corruption. The Sensex falls nearly 430 points as lenders turn cautious after an increase in inflation. This week's fall at the stock markets has been the worst this year. Our top story, India and Sri Lanka signed 4 agreements today on the first day of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's landmark visit to the country. Modi announced a slew of measures aimed at resetting ties with the bilateral neighbour and assured that New Delhi will help Colombo develop a regional petroleum hub. Here are all the details.
The final leg of Prime Minister Modi's 3-nation tour. He reached Colombo in the wee hours of Friday, making history as the first Indian Prime Minister visiting the Emerald Isle after 28 years. The centre point was this summit meeting between Prime Minister Modi and President Maithripala Sirisena, their second in 2 months. Sirisena's pro-India tilt has enabled ties to move in a positive direction. Delegation-level talks hammered out a slew of agreements towards further resetting ties, besides other announcements. The agreements are for exemption from visa for holders of diplomatic passports, cooperation and mutual assistance in customs, an MOU for youth development, and another for establishing a Rabindranath Tagore museum at a Sri Lanka university. The Prime Minister announced India's readiness to help Trincomalee become a petroleum hub. New Delhi is to provide a fresh line of credit of up to $318 million to Sri Lanka for development of its railways. The Reserve Bank of India and Central Bank of Sri Lanka agreed on a $1.5 billion currency swap agreement to help keep the Sri Lankan rupee stable. Keenly watched were signals of a breakthrough on the fishermen issue. A willingness to talk it out is the step forward here.
This complex issue involves livelihood and humanitarian concerns on both sides. It is also important that fishermen's associations of India and Sri Lanka meet at the earliest to find a mutually acceptable agreement. It can then be taken forward by both governments.
Prime Minister Modi was accorded the rare honour of addressing a joint session of Parliament. He highlighted Sri Lanka's vote for change and assured the leadership of the potential of ties between the two nations.
Sri Lanka is a leader in advancing cooperation in South Asia, and Sri Lanka's progress and prosperity is also a source of strength for India.
Modi also visited the Mahabodhi Society in Colombo that works to maintain ancient Buddhist shrines in India. On Saturday, the Prime Minister will visit some projects being financed by India, including a housing project for displaced Tamils. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha Television.
All right, for more on what took place in Colombo and what more to expect, we've got Akhilesh Suman, our correspondent, joining us now from Colombo. Akhilesh, good evening. Give us a sense really of the day that Prime Minister Modi has had today. A lot of firsts really, and also some significant takeaways from that.
Actually, see, there are 3 components of this whole agreement and the visit that Prime Minister Narendra Modi has undertaken after 28 years in Sri Lanka. First is the trade and commercial activities between the two countries, and I think the Prime Minister has been very successfully assured the politicians of Sri Lanka, even the businessmen of Sri Lanka, that trading and commercial activity between the two countries is going to be much easier. Another thing is the confidence building measure. You can understand the visa problems were always there, even for the diplomatic and official passport holders. So this exemption of visa for those two has come in a way that after Sri Sena government realized that there is a need of much more interaction between the two countries. And another, the visa on arrival for the Sri Lankans. In this way, Sri Lankans will come to know India in a much better way than they were knowing earlier. So, and even the Air India flights are going to be started, direct flights are going to be started on the daily basis, like Sri Lankan Airlines is flying between the two countries. So these are the major confidence building measures between the two countries. The communication level that has been almost at a halt after the internal strife in Sri Lanka. And the second component, major second component, is the strategic confidence between the two countries. Both Sri Lanka and India has realized that in the whole Indian Ocean there is a need to work on a cooperative basis so that this region is secured not only from the external interference but also from the terrorist activities in the whole region. So this is the and the third very important is the restoration and resolution of the problem between the Sinhalas and the Tamil. And Prime Minister Narendra Modi, both in the talks and also while addressing the parliament, he raised this issue. Yes. And now the Prime Minister Ranil Wickremesinghe of Sri Lanka and the President Sri Sena also assured that it is a new phase in the relationship between India and Sri Lanka, and you should be assured that this issue is going to be resolved. So you can understand that these are the three components that is very important between the two countries, and you can understand that the whole body language between the leaders of India and Sri Lanka, and even Tamil leaders who had come from Jaffna here, they were appreciating that this is really a new government in Sri Lanka that is going to resolve the issues and also having good relations with the Indian government. So that is the closest maritime neighbor between the two countries.
Yes, things looking positive for the moment. Thanks so much, Akhilesh Suman, for joining us from Colombo. Positive news there coming from Sri Lanka, but some worrying news coming from another neighbor. India has summoned the Pakistan High Commissioner after an Islamabad court decided to immediately release Mumbai terror mastermind Zakir Rahman Lakhvi. His detention was termed illegal by the Pakistan court, but India slammed Pakistan, saying that the verdict is extremely upsetting.
The Pakistan High Court has once again decided to release Mumbai terror mind Zakir Rahman Lakhvi. The court has termed his detention illegal, granting him bail for the second time in just over a month. Earlier, the Pak Supreme Court has overturned the High Court decision to set Lakhvi free. India reacted strongly to the development. The centre slammed Pakistan, accusing it of failing to produce evidence against Lakhvi in the court. Pak High Commissioner Abdul Basit was summoned over the issue.
No, he may have been granted bail, but as you know, the trial continues and we're all working to complete the trial. So let the judicial process take its course.
It is the responsibility of the Pakistani government to ensure that all the legal measures are taken and he doesn't get out of jail. All the overwhelming evidences which clearly shows Lakhvi's role in conspiracy.
India has earlier adopted a resolution in Parliament against the release of Lakhvi from Pakistani jail. On Friday, Congress raised the issue of Lakhvi's bail in Rajya Sabha, claiming it to be a failure of the centre's foreign policy.
Sir, Mumbai हमले में 450 लोग मारे गए. If a criminal incident takes place inside the country, then the legal case should be in the country, inside the country, in the boundary of the Indian subcontinent.
Today at 10 o'clock, Lakhvi has been granted bail. How can we give notice? So I told him to give notice for today, tomorrow. Anything which is very important, it cannot be raised in the House because notice has to be given by 10 o'clock.
According to the sources, the Pakistan government might detain Lakhvi under another public security order. The 30-day detention order will expire later this week. During the last month, Lakhvi's lawyers had challenged his fresh detention under maintenance of public order. With inputs from Kriti Mishra, Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Meanwhile, yet another day and another sting in the Aam Aadmi Party. The third sting now claims Arvind Kejriwal tried to influence the Muslim community to join hands in the Delhi Assembly polls. While the CM is still away on health-related problems, the party leadership is trying its best to defend him. However, former Congress MLA Asif Mohammed Khan has threatened to reveal more sting operations soon.
It seems Aam Aadmi Party is busy defending series of sting operations against the party. Especially Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal has reportedly featured in another audio tape, this time talking about taking the Muslim community on board in Delhi polls to stop BJP. However, Aam Aadmi Party's minority wing has denied any such conversations.
मैं ये समझता हूँ कि ये सब चीजें फेक हैं और इसको प्लांट किया जा रहा है बाकायदा। जो डर्टी गेम चल रहा है 2-3 दिन से टीवी चैनल्स पे और जिस तरह से झूठ का प्रचार हो रहा है पार्टी के खिलाफ, ये उसी का एक हिस्सा है, उसी की एक कड़ी है।
राजेश गर्ग ने 30 दिसंबर 2014 को मुझे पहली बार एसएमएस करके धमकी दी थी कि टिकट वितरण ठीक करिए, टिकट ठीक से दीजिए, अन्यथा मैं ये कर दूंगा आपके साथ। उसके तब से ये चल रहा है, लेकिन उससे किसी ने ये नहीं पूछा कि तुम जिस पार्टी के विधायक थे, अपने नेता राष्ट्रीय संयोजक की बातचीत तुम टेप कैसे कर रहे थे। इस पार्टी में कुछ लोगों का केवल यही होना है, कुछ लोगों का केवल यही काम है कि वो हमारी पार्टी पर टिप्पणी करने के लिए अधिकृत किए जाएं, वो अपनी पार्टी के लिए नहीं है।
Meanwhile, former Congress MLA Asif Mohammed Khan has threatened to come out with more revelations against Aam Aadmi Party leader Sanjay Singh. He claims that he was offered a ministerial position by the Aam Aadmi Party leader.
उस विजुअल्स में वो मीडिया हाउस से जुड़े हुए जो संपादक थे वो भी सामने दिखाई दे रहे हैं, उनके भी ऑडियो भी उनका सामने आ रहा है, वो भी कुछ बातें कर रहे हैं क्योंकि उनके ड्राइंग रूम में ये बातें हो रही हैं। तो मैंने ये आज कहा था कि मैं 12 बजे इसको रिलीज करूंगा, लेकिन मैं आपको एक बात कह रहा हूं कि संजय सिंह जी ये एक्सेप्ट कर रहे हैं कि हाँ ऐसी बातें हुई है।
अगर किसी भी प्रकार का कोई स्टिंग, कोई ऑडियो, कोई वीडियो मुझसे संबंधित जिसमें मंत्री पद देने की बात या पैसे देने की बात कही गई होगी, अगर इसका कोई खुलासा हो जाता है तो मैं राजनीति से संन्यास ले लूंगा।
किसी ने मुझे खरीद का।
Earlier, Asif Khan had released the sting operation which purportedly has Kejriwal trying to poach Congress MLAs ahead of the polls. The former Congress MLA has also named Sanjay Singh and Manish Sisodia as other Aam Aadmi Party leaders who were in talks with Congress leaders. With inputs from Anu Diwan, Bureau Report for Rajya Sabha TV.
In a new low in politics, the Kerala Assembly turned into a free-for-all battleground as the opposition, Left Democratic Front, tried to stop Finance Minister K.M. Mani from tabling the state budget today. Mani has been booked in a bribery case. In clashes that took place in and outside the Assembly and a police crackdown that followed, a supporter of the LDF died of a heart attack, while 4 MLAs were reportedly injured.
Utter chaos in the Kerala Assembly, where State Finance Minister K.M. Mani presented the budget amid high drama. Opposition party leaders tried to prevent Mani from reading the speech while demanding his resignation.
K.M. Maniയെ നിയമസഭയിൽ നിന്ന് കൊണ്ടുവന്നത് 500ഓളം പോലീസുകാരുടെ അകമ്പടിയോട് കൂടിയിട്ടാണ്. ആ പോലീസുകാരെയും കൊണ്ട് നിയമസഭയിൽ വന്ന മാണിക്ക് ബഡ്ജറ്റ് അവതരിപ്പിക്കാൻ കഴിഞ്ഞില്ല. മാണി നിയമസഭയിൽ വരുമ്പോൾ തന്നെ നിയമസഭാ സ്പീക്കർ അദ്ദേഹത്തിന് മന്ത്രി മാണിയെ ബഡ്ജറ്റ് അവതരിപ്പിക്കാൻ ക്ഷണിക്കാൻ അവിടെ സാധിച്ചില്ല.
We did not allow Mr. Mani to present his budget. Then we publicly stated that we tried to block him to present the budget, but the ruling party MLAs are trying to manhandle the women MLAs. That has created some situations in the assembly.
It was very unfortunate the developments which happened in the Kerala Assembly today, but that was a deliberate creation of the opposition parties in Kerala. The fact that Mr. K.M. Mani's allegation against K.M. Mani is under investigation, opposition making a demand that Mani, the finance minister who is legally entitled to present the budget, should not present the budget, itself was a wrong demand, and that was not acceptable at all.
With activists of the left and the youth wing of the BJP continued their protest since Wednesday evening outside the assembly, the ruling UDF was prepared for the protest. Mani, along with nearly 70 party MLAs, spent Thursday night in one of the rooms of the assembly.
There are very serious allegations against the finance minister, Mr. Mani. It is widely reported at national level how the bribery case took place in Kerala.
On Wednesday, a determined Chief Minister Oommen Chandy maintained in the Assembly that the allegations against Mani were part of a political conspiracy. He insisted that the minister himself would present the budget.
Today's happening is very unfortunate. This was not happened in earlier times. Opposition parties took a very adamant stand regarding the presentation of a budget. We are in power, and Mr. K.M. Mani is the finance minister. It is his duty, his responsibility to present the budget.
Last December, Kerala's Vigilance and Anti-Corruption Bureau filed a case against Mani on charges that he accepted a 1 crore bribe from bar owners to renew liquor licenses. Contesting the allegation, Mani filed a 10 crore defamation suit against the Kerala Hotels and Bar Association President Biju Ramesh. 81-year-old Mani is a political veteran who won every assembly election since 1965. He belongs to the Kerala Congress M, a key ally of Oommen Chandy's Congress-led government. Bureau Report, Rajya Sabha TV.
Back in Parliament, a discussion on the general budget could not be initiated in Lok Sabha on Friday. The Congress party said there was no point of a discussion in the absence of Finance Minister Arun Jaitley, who is on a visit to the UK. Despite Speaker Sumitra Mahajan and the government citing rules in a bid to get the discussion started, the opposition stayed firm on its ground.
A discussion on the general budget was slated to be held between 12 noon and 3:30 p.m. on Friday. Minister of State for Finance, Jayant Sinha, even began the discussion by making his observations on the budget.
ये युवाओं का बजट है अध्यक्ष जी, युवाओं के लिए हम लोगों ने इसमें बहुत महत्वपूर्ण नीतियां लाई हैं.
But the Congress party and several other opposition parties raised the issue of Finance Minister Arun Jaitley not being present in the House. They argued that during a discussion on the budget, it was important for the concerned minister to be present in the House.
What we have discussed with him means our friends, see, he has agreed that budget discussion should be taken. We agreed. But he did not tell the finance minister will be absent. In his absence, this will be taken up.
Speaker Sumitra Mahajan informed the House that Arun Jaitley had gone abroad with her permission, and in his absence, the rules gave the Minister of State the same powers.
जयंत सिन्हा जो वित्त राज्य मंत्री है, दूसरे कोई नहीं है, वित्त राज्य मंत्री है, उनका उतना ही अधिकार है और इसलिए वो अटेंड करेंगे आज और सोमवार को फिर पूरी तरीके से जब वहां वित्त मंत्री कैबिनेट मिनिस्टर विल बी देयर, रिप्लाई भी वही करेंगे. ये सब सोचते हुए आई हैव अलाउड.
The government also cited rules to get the discussion started.
Minister means member of the Council of Ministers and include a member of the cabinet or a minister of state or a deputy minister or a parliamentary secretary. This is the ruling, this is the rule also. At page number 3, they can see it also.
When the opposition did not relent, the speaker postponed the discussion till Monday. Shyam Sundar's report for Rajya Sabha TV.
The rail budget was moved for consideration in the upper house today. Opposition parties criticized Rail Minister Suresh Prabhu's rail budget, while the ruling party members hailed it as a bold one. Rajya Sabha members urged the government to address various issues plaguing railways, including corruption, accidents and women's safety. Some MPs also sought more trains and projects in their states. The discussion is to continue in the upper house on Monday. The Lok Sabha has already passed the rail budget.
पूरे देश में ढिढोरा पीटा गया कि बुलेट ट्रेन चलेगी। हालांकि 60,000 करोड़ की लागत से चलने वाली ट्रेन है। मैं मंत्री जी से जानना चाहता हूं कि 9 महीने के कार्यकाल में बुलेट ट्रेन का 10-5 पहिया बन पाया है कि नहीं बन पाया है।
सालों तक हमारी देश की जनता को ऐसी सुविधा मिले जो जनता की सुविधा विश्व के रेलवे से जो सुविधा मिलती है उनकी बराबरी में हमारा देश की जनता को रेलवे में सुविधा कैसे मिले, हम वही परंपरा से कैसे बाहर आ पाए, वही स्थिति, वो स्थिति से बाहर आने के लिए क्या करना चाहिए उसका गहरा अभ्यास करके हमारा माननीय मंत्री जी ने जो बजट रजू किया है उसका मैं स्वागत करता हूं।
Government has already increased huge rail fare last year and promised to provide better facilities, but instead the government has failed in all capacities.
हरियाणा वासियों को हमारे मंत्री प्रभु जी से बहुत सी उम्मीदें हैं। मुझे पूरी उम्मीद है वो उन उम्मीदों को पूरा करेंगे। मैं हरियाणा के हित में और देश के हित में हरियाणा के संबंध में 2-3 मांगे रखता हूं।
मेरी प्रथम मांग है कि कुरुक्षेत्र रेलवे स्टेशन को एक विश्व स्तरीय रेलवे स्टेशन बनाया जाए।
With that, a quick break here. We'll be back with more news in just a bit.
Low salaries, tough working conditions. Journalists are facing uncertain times. Will the wage board improve matters? Will its recommendations see the light of day? Watch the big picture, 9:30 p.m. on Rajya Sabha television.
Welcome back. Let's get you some more news now from the stock markets. It fell sharply today, dropping almost 1.5% and ended the week recording their biggest weekly fall this year. The slump came after lenders dropped with an increase in consumer inflation data, raising concerns about interest rate cuts. Both the indices marked their worst weekly fall since the week ended 12 December 2014. The Sensex ended down 427 points or 1.5% at 28,503. The BSE index lost 3.2% during the week. The Nifty too down by 128 points or 1.5% at 8,647. The index lost 3.3% during the week. And now let's get you more news from across the country in Nationwide. The Deputy Chief Minister of Delhi, Manish Sisodia, addressed a press conference today on 1 month of AAP's governance in Delhi. He said that the Kejriwal government has managed to reduce power and water tariffs. He also said that the first month has been largely about making systemic changes, which he feels will end red tapeism. He did say, though, that it will take time to eradicate red tapeism with the help of technology. With 7 more deaths in Gujarat and Delhi, the number of swine flu casualties is nearing 1,600 this year across the country. 6 more people died in Gujarat, taking the toll up to 368 in the state this year. A pregnant woman also died in Delhi, taking the state's toll to 11. The latest casualties were reported amid concerning studies that claims that the virus last year has acquired mutations. The BJP's national executive will meet from the 3rd of April in Bengaluru for 3 days to take stock of the party's performance in the last 6 months. The meeting will also be held to discuss strategies for the upcoming assembly elections in Bihar and West Bengal. Prime Minister Narendra Modi is expected to be present on all 3 days. Like we mentioned earlier, Finance Minister Arun Jaitley is on a 3-day visit to the UK. He will be meeting his UK counterpart, Chancellor of Exchequer George Osborne, today and will discuss various bilateral and multilateral economic and financial issues. Jaitley will also participate in an investors' meeting and will visit the London Stock Exchange. On Saturday, Jaitley is to unveil a statue of Mahatma Gandhi in Parliament Square, London. The Finance Minister will then meet British Prime Minister David Cameron on Sunday. And now more international news and updates in Global Buzz. The Islamic State has accepted a pledge of allegiance from Nigeria's militant group Boko Haram, according to an audio message. In the tape, which has not been verified yet, an IS spokesman says the aim of establishing a caliphate has now been expanded to West Africa. Last week, Boko Haram posted a message saying it wanted to join ranks with the IS. Spanish police arrested 8 suspected jihadists early Friday morning. The men were allegedly inciting others to commit acts of terrorism and recruiting fighters for Syria and Iraq. This is the second such sweep this week in Spain. Security operations continued with police searching premises in the northeastern cities of Barcelona and Girona. At least 7 people are reported killed after a roof of a 5-story factory building collapsed in Mongla town, 135 kilometers from Dhaka in Bangladesh on Thursday night. At least 53 people were injured, including 6 whose condition is critical. 150 workers were inside the building when the incident took place. Rescue teams have called off search operations. Russian officials say 5 people are confirmed dead and 25 more are missing, presumed dead after a fire in a shopping center in the city of Kazan, 720 kilometers from Moscow. 40 people were injured in that place. The cause of the fire that began on Wednesday has not yet been determined. Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro and his supporters staged an anti-imperialist rally in Caracas to protest against US sanctions. The rally was in response to US statements that the sanctions were intended to change and not topple the government. Maduro's socialist government has accused Washington of planning military attacks and wider Cuba-style trade sanctions. All right, some cricket news now. And New Zealand's unbeaten run in the World Cup continues after they beat Bangladesh by 3 wickets today. Despite a slow start, Bangladesh posted a total of 288 for 7 in 50 overs. Mohammad Mahmudullah was the star again with an unbeaten 128, his second successive century in the tournament. In reply, New Zealand lost in-form captain Brendan McCullum and Kane Williamson early, but Martin Guptill's 100 and Ross Taylor's half-century helped the Kiwis to reach the target with 7 balls to spare. Shakib Al Hasan took 4 wickets for Bangladesh. The loss means Bangladesh will face India in the quarter-final on the 19th of March at the MCG.
Nicely played. First time he gets to a half-century.
Of course, defending champions India will be aiming to finish their group league engagements with an unbeaten record tomorrow when it takes on Zimbabwe in Auckland. India is currently on a roll with 5 back-to-back wins in the tournament. Dhoni's men will aim to extend their winning streak in World Cup to 10 against the hapless Zimbabwe. Ahead of their quarter-final clash with Bangladesh next week, the Indian team could see a few changes to try out the bench strength tomorrow. For Zimbabwe, the match is more of a matter of pride than consequence. They have already been eliminated after losing 4 out of 5 games. That's all from me for the moment. Have a good weekend.